Black bears are the smallest bear species in the United States. They can grow up to 6 feet tall when standing on their hind legs and can weigh anywhere from 125 to 400 pounds. Black bears are common and are the most widely distributed of Northern American bears. In the past, black bears could be found in all forested habitats in Northern America and Mexico. However, black bears no longer exist in many eastern and midwestern states. They can be found in 11 Canadian provinces, 7 Mexican states, and 38 states in America. Black bears are timid and secretive. They tend to be curious and show a high level of intelligence. The black bear generally is active in the early morning and late evening hours. These bears usually roam up to 15 square miles a day foraging for food. The name of the black bear doesn't always define its characteristics though. Black bears can be black, brown, dark blonde, and cinnamon in color. The animal may change their usual patterns to exploit new sources of food such as campgrounds and dump sites. In the fall, the black bear must consume around 20,000 calories a day to gain the weight needed to get them through the long winter when food is much more scarce. In Arizona, there are approximately 2,500 black bears in the wild. Since 1990, there's only been about 15 recorded black bear attacks in the state. Incidents are extremely rare, however, they do occur. Stephen Jackson, age 66, lived in Tucson, Arizona with his girlfriend, Annie Cook. The two met over 15 years ago and have lived together since. Stephen graduated from Kalamazoo College in the 1970s. After graduating, he taught high school and coached sports for many years. He was instrumental in helping to start an alternative school in Douglas. Later, he worked for Caliber Home Loans as an IT until he retired. Stephen enjoyed playing golf and was always refining his skill of the game. One of Stephen's passions was building things. He was known as being methodical, and his work had a sophisticated elegance to it. Annie and Stephen purchased a patch of land in Groom Creek just outside of Prescott, Arizona. The land is located in a densely wooded area and surrounded by good neighbors. Groom Creek is located in the cool pines of Arizona. The neighborhood is peaceful and surrounded by nature. The area is known for its robust wildlife and beautiful woods. It is an incorporated community with Yavapai County, Arizona. It has a population of over 17,000 citizens. The couple began building a log cabin on their land. The two loved nature, and they planned to retire to their cabin within the next year. They traveled there often together, but sometimes Stephen would go there by himself to work on the building of the cabin. He often hiked the trails out past the Desert Museum and would camp high on Mount Lemmon. Sometimes he would spend a month or longer there working on their cabin. He had plans to install solar panels and a water collection system. On June 11th in 2023, Stephen left his home in Tucson to travel to his land on Groom Creek. Over the next few days, he worked diligently on his cabin. At night, he slept in his tent that he had placed in a brace over his vehicle. On June 16th in 2023, Stephen woke up early to have his morning coffee before starting on the cabin. He brewed his coffee and sat down in a chair at his table. As he was sipping his coffee, a black bear snuck up on him from behind and attacked. Stephen began screaming from the top of his lungs to his nearby neighbors for help. The bear grabbed Stephen and dragged him 75 feet down a steep embankment. His neighbors heard the scream and tried to assist. They drove their vehicles to the location, blowing their horns, yelling and screaming in hopes of getting the bear's attention, causing it to release its hold on Stephen. But the bear continued with his attack. Another neighbor ran to David Montano's home, which was nearby, and woke him, asking for him to grab his rifle. However, by this time, Stephen's injuries were too severe and he was already dead. The bear was consuming his body when the neighbor arrived. He had brought his rifle, shot, and killed the bear. Authorities described the attack as predatory in nature and said it was incredibly rare. The last fatal bear attack in Arizona happened back in 2011. Arizona Game and Fish Commission member Todd Geiler stated that this was an especially aggressive, unprovoked attack that reminds us that the wildlife can be unpredictable. He released a public statement that quoted, "On behalf of the Arizona Game and Fish Commission and the entire staff, we offer our sincere condolences during this difficult time." Darren Tucker, a field supervisor with Arizona Game and Fish, said, "We didn't see any obvious attractants. The location and the surrounding residencies look pretty tidy. However, typically 9 out of 10 times we have wildlife-human conflict. There is some nexus to food, whether that's feeding of wildlife or access to trash containers. As we continue our investigation, I don't know if any of that information will turn up." According to Sheriff David Rhodes of the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office, the male bear was between 6 and 10 years old and weighed 300 pounds. A necropsy proved the bear to be completely healthy and was not underweight. Tests on the bear's body proved the bear to be in very good condition and no signs of disease. An examination of the stomach by Dr. Ann Justice Allen found human remains consistent with the injuries on Stephen's body. The bear also had berries, seeds, and native vegetation in its stomach. Its body fat was normal, and he tested negative for rabies. Sheriff Rhodes said, "Our sincere sympathies go out to Mr. Jackson's family. I cannot express how deeply sad this situation is, and can only say that our prayers are with you." Sheriff Rhodes assured surrounding residences that there is no outstanding threat to the community. He said, "We've had no other information that there are aggressive animals or bears in the area." He also advised the public not to shoot any bears unless there is an immediate threat to you or the safety of others, as it is against the law to do so. Neighbor David Montano told reporters that Stephen spent many hours working on his property and was always friendly and welcoming to the community. David recalled the day his neighbor was attacked. He said he woke up to neighbors pounding on his door and saying, "A bear's got Stephen, grab your gun." He said, "He was just the happiest guy. I mean, it was like he had no problems in the world. He just only cared about making people happy and living a great life for himself. He was looking forward to enjoying the rest of his days in his favorite place in the world." He continued saying, "It's just such a loss here for all of us." He said he grabbed his gun and rushed to the scene where he noticed Stephen down a steep hill with the bear on top of him. He said he got the bear's attention, then shot it. He said the bear rolled off of Stephen and he shot it again. Montano said if that bear had not been put down, who knows who else it could have attacked, and that gives me peace. Statistically, black bear attacks as a whole are on the rise. Stephen Herrero is a retired professor of ecology at the University of Calgary. He studied bear attacks in North America and found that as the human population increases, so do deadly bear attacks. He said, "The bears that occasionally kill people are the ones who do it very stealthily, much like you would expect a predator to do. They get close to a person and then they charge, usually without making any noise. Of course, most people haven't seen this kind of behavior because it's very rare." He said the bears that huff and pound the ground usually are not the ones that kill. Herrero said that the attack on Stephen Jackson is typical of what we see in fatal bear attacks. He was alone. He said the only difference is that fatal attacks are usually in Alaska or Canada, not the lower 48 states.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more from Wild Animal Network.